What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Hussle, and yes, it's the best money and credit channel on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell. So whenever I drop new sauce, new lessons, new methods, and giveaways, you will be the first one to be notified. You will be the first one to know what's going on. And hey, you might be the first one to win something for free. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell on all the YouTube channels. Also, make sure you follow me on my Twitch, King Hustle Live. I do all my freebies and giveaways from those YouTube channels and that Twitch. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell so you won't miss out on nothing. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. All you gotta do is click the title on every video. Once you click the title on every video, at the bottom of the description, all my social media links will pop up. All right. Got a lot of fake King Hustle pages out there. So please get a FaceTime verification call or a video to make sure you see this face. Make sure you are doing legit business and you are getting what you pay for. All right. And before we get anything started, this is all educational purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything. So let's get this thing started. Let's get this thing started. Yeah. What to do, my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, my real Hustle Nation Empire family members. And we are back at it again with the gems, back at it again with the sauce, back at it again with the information that's going to turn you into a boss. So you tired of being a zero? You ready to be a family hero? Listen up, take a seat, get your notepad and get your pen, because you already know when I drop these videos and y'all get them notifications, it's going to be some information that's going to help you win or keep y'all entertained. So with that being said, we got another King Hustle Crazy reaction video today. And in today's video, we got FBI arrest master credit card master thief. People be out here scamming, man. So with that being said, let's see what they got going on where they caught the master thief.
He stole hundreds of millions of dollars, falsified thousands of documents, led 20 federal agencies on a wild goose chase, and got away with it for far too long. A number of innocent companies found themselves in serious financial hurt, all due to the shady action of Habib Chaudhry. Banks and the FBI teamed up, creating the biggest ever anti-fraud coalition. And still, finding their man wasn't easy. How did it all play out? What happened to the money? And how can we avoid something like this happening to us? Stay tuned to find out. Once Habib Chaudhry had wound up his cunning fraudster scheme, the American financial sector found itself in disarray. Businesses and financial institutions were left feeling the effects of hundreds of millions of dollars of losses which seemed impossible to recover. When we look at the 10 biggest countries around the world in terms of GDP, which is the entire country's monetary value of its goods and services, the United States of America's credit card debt is almost $1,200 more than its nearest rival. That's per person. America is a nation reliant on credit. As technology advances and contactless payments become the norm, that reliance only grows. For every positive that the credit card provides, like ease of use, ability to splurge online, and the idea of buying now and paying later, there are also significant risks. As more Americans opt for credit cards, it simply opens up more avenues for criminals to steal. These days, banks are advertising more Visa and MasterCard promotions, encouraging higher spending limits, and lessening the strictness of applicant requirements, meaning that criminals, fake IDs in hand, can benefit financially in degrees far greater than ever before. And that's exactly what this man did. From 2014 to 2017, the Justice Department filed nearly 10,000 financial fraud cases against nearly 15,000 defendants, none of which, however, could so much as hold a mirror to our guest of honor, Habib Chaudhry. So let's take a step back. Who is this guy? How on earth did he manage to single-handedly defraud the fortress that is the United States financial system? Well, for starters, it wasn't single-handedly at all. He had a network of fraudsters at his disposal, able and willing to help him steal. But we'll get to that later. Chaudhry hails from Valley Stream, New York. That is right here. It was here that he was able to base his operation, collaborate with his network, and create a long-standing stream of fraudulent identification documents. Those documents were a key pillar in creating one of the most successful credit card fraud schemes in American history. All up, the operation caused more than $200 million in confirmed losses to businesses and financial institutions across the country. And who knows how many more millions that weren't officially accounted for. To steal that much cash, well, actually it wasn't cash, it was credit. That's the whole point. To steal that much credit would have required an elaborate portfolio of fake documents and real addresses. But like we said, Chaudhry wasn't the only one involved. He worked in tandem with the likes of Tahir Lodhi, Babar Qureshi, Ijaz Butt, and plenty of others. 22 people in total, 19 of which pleaded guilty before Chaudhry was found. They got away with it for much longer than anyone could have expected. But how? What kind of plan could have been so foolproof to have sent the FBI into disarray? We'll tell you. The scheme involved a three-step process. Step 1. Chaudhry and his colleagues would fabricate a false identity. Unless there was a case of coincidence, they weren't stealing a real persona, they were creating new people altogether. To build photo pieces of identification like passports, driver's licenses, birth certificates, bank accounts, and educational achievements like bachelor's and master's degrees, the thieves put in endless hours of work. You would assume that acquiring and creating these documents would be exceptionally expensive, although that's not quite true. Quite the contrary, in fact. A research team from safety detectives visited several marketplaces on the dark web and compiled the average cost of the necessary documents one would need to start a brand new life with a shiny new identity. Go ahead, take a guess. $1 million? 100,000? Nope. For an American identity, just a lowly $1,152. A mere sliver of the profit that these thieves would eventually make in the long run. That was step 1, create false personas. Then came step 2, using the personas to formulate a credit profile with the major credit bureaus. If, say, they'd made up a new person by the name of John Smith, then one of the fraudsters, acting as John Smith, would provide all the necessary information to a credit bureau in order to establish a strong, trustworthy credit score. Finally, step 3. They would use these credit profiles, which showed positive, albeit bogus information, to open up bank accounts and sign up for credit cards or take out loans. Either way, they'd borrow or spend as much as they humanly could before the bank caught wind that there was 0% chance that the debt was ever going to be repaid. In most situations, if you overspend on your credit card or don't pay back your loan, then the bank comes a-knockin'. But since the fraudsters were spending money on behalf of people who didn't exist, there was no way for the fake John Smith to be chased down. By the time one account had been closed for overspending and lack of repayments, several others were being opened and exploited. There was one crucial piece of information that couldn't be faked: addresses. But remember, we were dealing with forward-thinking, not run-of-the-mill snatch-and-grab style thieves. Chaudhry and his co-conspirators maintained more than 1,800 houses, apartments, and post office boxes across the country, which they referred to as their drop addresses. Each of these mailing addresses corresponded with a false identity and would receive documents and credit cards sent out by the institutions. With this detailed plan in effect, Chaudhry's team successfully fabricated over 7,000 fake identities, which allowed access to tens of thousands of credit cards. With 19 people pleading guilty, and adding Chaudhry to that list, plus 2 more yet to be caught, the $200 million would have turned into roughly $9.09 million in each person's pocket, assuming an even split. Not bad for what was probably just a few years of shady work. While it's not clear how each one of the scammers spent their money, we can infer that whatever was left of it was forced to be repaid upon arrest. The man at the center of it all would have had more chance to spend than any of the others, because after the rest of the gang was convicted in 2013, Habib Chaudhry remained a fugitive for the better part of 4 years. Despite being charged for his role in the scam, Chaudhry was nowhere to be found. The FBI hasn't revealed the intricate details of how they caught the scammers. What we do know, however, is that postal inspectors with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service played a helpful role. Perhaps one of the thousands of fake documents caught the eye of a keen investigator, or perhaps the thieves were met with undercover agents at one of their drop locations. Either way, their actions proved a need for the American government to create one of the biggest task forces in the nation's financial crime history. Obama's Financial Fraud Enforcement Task Force was made up of more than 20 federal agencies, 94 U.S. attorneys' offices, as well as state and local partners. Together, they were able to uncover most of the answers. Although there was one question that kept the elite task force scratching their heads: where on earth was Habib Chaudhry hiding? They might never have achieved a clear-cut answer, but they don't need one, because Chaudhry gave himself up in January 2017, after nearly 4 years on the run. It's a good thing that he did, too, because the FBI would have likely been spending far more than they had anticipated. In 2020, of their entire $9.31 billion FBI budget, only $18.2 million is laid out to target and disrupt organized financial crime networks. What about the punishment? The conspiracy to commit bank fraud charge carries a maximum potential penalty of 30 years in prison and a $1 million fine, so a hefty chunk of the group's profits would have gone to covering their fines, plus legal fees. As for the rest, well, your guess is as good as ours. It could still be sitting in an offshore account to this very day. While the perps have been caught,
Never
the
know.
majority of the money that was stolen will never be paid back, leaving the unfortunate financial institutions to bear the brunt of the cost. It begs the question, how can they possibly recover from such a big hit? We envision a few solutions. One, government assistance, while rare, could help recoup the losses. Two, the thieves could pay back their stolen money. But let's be honest, the chances of that happening are slim to none. The most likely solution, and the one that indirectly affects the rest of the population, is a deliberate change in interest rates. In order to rebalance their books, banks would need for the average customer to pay a little bit more interest on their credit cards or loans. When we focus on Chaudhry's scheme, the interest rate adjustments needed would be minuscule. $200 million in the grand scheme of things, spread across a number of institutions, isn't overwhelming. But when we factor in the long list of all ID fraudsters around the country who stole $16 billion in 2014 alone, then the need to recoup losses and the extent needed to do so grows significantly. Fraud takes many dimensions, not just creating new fake identities, but stealing the identities of reliable, innocent, everyday people just like you. Whether we like it or not, we're all at serious risk. As technology has advanced, so has the fraudster's toolkit. Hackers who target businesses and steal customers' credit card information have risen tenfold in recent years. And since many of us regularly opt for cards instead of cash, we don't often notice a few stray transactions on an account statement full of online spending. So what exactly can we do about it? How can we stop criminals like these from stealing our money and our identity? For starters, you could refrain from digital transactions altogether and revert back to cash as your main form of payment. But what about online purchasing, you ask? Easy fix. Prepaid Visas and gift cards. If that's a little too drastic of a change, you can still set limits on your credit account and simultaneously ensure to regularly check your balances. Furthermore, change your passwords once in a while, just to be sure that nothing shady is afoot. If you're withdrawing from an ATM, keep an eye out for pieces of equipment that seem like they just don't belong. Thieves have been known to install auxiliary card readers on ATMs, which steal your information as soon as you insert your piece of plastic. Have you ever been a victim of a credit card fraud or an identity theft? Have you ever had something stolen from you? And if so, what did you do about it? Let us know what happened in the comments. We would love to hear your story. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe.
All right, man. People out here really creating fake identities, real CPNs, and doing real things with credit, get loans, credit cards, and lines of credit, doing all different type of stuff and making big bucks with it. So that being said, man, we got to be more safe. We got to be more cautious. We got to be more aware of stuff like this, keeping our identity safe, keeping our information safe. So nothing like this can happen to us. All right, so shout out to all my real King Hustle fans, supporters, and subscribers out there, because without y'all, there'd be no me. Y'all motivate me keep going. Y'all motivate me keep dropping this sauce, and y'all motivate me keep y'all entertained. So shout out to all of y'all. Anybody out there that's tired of being broke, because it ain't no joke, let's get to work. FaceTime 101 limited gems are $1,000, but for limited time only. I'm doing them for 600. Yes, 600 Cash App or Bitcoin payment. Once the 600 is on your Cash App or Bitcoin balance, send me a screenshot. Let me know you payment ready, and we will go from there. All right, no screenshots, no replies, no 21 questions, and please do not yell me. Also, for limited time only for $260, I'm doing FaceTime lessons. 5 questions, knowledge is power for $260, so don't miss out on that. Also, make sure y'all book y'all seat on the crypto tour in part. Oh. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the crypto tour in person, limited gems, $3,500, $500 deposit. The rest of the money will be meet in person. Make sure y'all book y'all seat on the 30-day mentorship, $2,500. Anything you need help with, let's get to work and make it happen, elevate and grow. Make sure y'all checking out my vendor platforms on Telegram and the Potato app, Millionaire Network. Still looking for people for the production company. Still looking for rappers, singers, models, producers, cameramen, women, gamers, streamers, and content creators. We're going to do a lot of skits, blogs, movies, music videos, traveling, networking, and having fun. Any cameraman or woman in Houston, Texas, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin, hit me up on my IG. Let's push out this content. Let's run up a bag. Also, make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell on all my YouTube channels and my Twitch. I do all my freebies and giveaways from there. Make sure you follow me on my IG, new IG, King Hustle X1.2 for more free sauce, free methods, and information that's gonna turn you into a boss. And make sure y'all checking out the crypto world, man. With that being said, it's your boy King Hustle. Y'all know how to get down in these videos. I'll see you at the next lesson or video. Peace.